And yeah, I'm surprised that horang has opted for the standard play here. One, because he's renowned as a cheeser to the point where he has a really interesting nickname as far as Korean player nicknames go. He's called the Fourth Dimension Protoss, because he has his own style, and he's considered as in a world of his own, and Koreans refer to that as being in the fourth dimension. I think that's just really freaking cool. Templar Archives going up for movie, but he's still on 2 gateways, so there's a chance now that horang can just overpower him. But movie does have the benefit of the bridges as a defensive feature, and once he has Reavers to help hold them, that'll also be pretty helpful. Templar Archives going down, and now that 3rd and 4th gateway finally going up for movie, and he's going to chase off horang's expeditionary force. The numbers there are about equal, I imagine. An observer was committed. Horang loses a Dragoon, bad luck for him, but horang's also getting down his archives and a forge. I think at this point, with both players having gone for early observers, and actually I still haven't seen a Reaver out yet, Dark Templar aren't going to be all that helpful, so the archives might be for 1 or 2 Dark Templar just to keep observers occupied, but I think it's mostly going to be for Psionic Storm. And I'm seeing a green blip on the minimap at the 9 o'clock position. I'm wondering if that's an observer or an expansion going up. It's a little bit hard to see, but I think it would probably be an observer. I think there are closer and more defensible locations that that horang can expand to, though that could also serve as a bit of a hidden expansion. A couple of Templar loading into a shuttle, so movie's going to look for a storm drop to do some economic damage and get himself back into the game a bit. He's not out of the game by any means, but he's just been slightly behind the whole time, I think. And now horang's going into full-on macro mode. He's going up to 8 gates, so I would have to assume he does have a third somewhere, because going 8 gates off of 2 bases, like, you can, but it's not the easiest on your economy. And I mean, further teching is going to be not very easy to afford. But it looks like, oh, that shuttle narrowly avoiding Dragoon-related death there. But 1 Dragoon is on hand to ward that shuttle away. I don't know if movie should have just gone for the drop there, but I don't think he's going to get in very easily. Archons are on the way up for horang, and now finally that drop. But horang's quick to pull his probes. I think he only lost... Okay, he lost 7 probes, which is a decent amount, but not a huge amount. I think the game is still slightly leaning in horang's favor. I think he'll just be able to absorb that loss pretty easily. And if that Archon gets that Dragoon, kind of similar, though, but the Dragoon and the cannon doesn't look like that's going to be a problem. I also don't know if the 8 gateways have been scouted, though now movie is going up to at least 6. He might be adding a 7th that I can see. And he might be able to hold the bridges, but he's going to have a smaller army for quite a while. It's very zealot heavy for horang, who's now taking his say presumably, it looks like his 3rd, but might even be a 4th in the bottom left corner of the map. I'd like to just see what's over at that 9 o'clock, but the observers aren't really clicking there. And movie is getting contained, so if he's going to want to expand again, which he does, but that zealot is going to put a stop to for now, then he's going to either have to break that contain or have mined out that mineral patch on the ramp there, which he has. So that now gives Horang the option of a second front to attack on, but he's just going to cross the bridges somehow while Movie's forces were away to try to secure that expansion, and that's very good game sense from Horang, and Movie's in a lot of trouble suddenly. Though Horang withdraws his forces back across the bridges, and I'm not sure why he did that, considering that kind of huge number of zealots that he had. It looked like he had the superior army, but actually not the case. Though he's done some damage, and I think he'll be pretty well ready to push again soon. He's adding more Archons to his force, and yet another expansion too, so Horang is definitely going to just keep hammering on this economic advantage, and that should be enough to just secure the game for him. But he's in danger of losing a large chunk of his army, if not the entire thing, to Movie's force. Movie's killed a lot of that force, but he's not got all that many units himself. He's got maybe a dozen and a half fighting units right now. And Horang is going to get his army back pretty quickly. At this point, I mean, Movie's gated up too, so it's just the economic advantage for Horang that's looking like is keeping him ahead. Military is kind of equalized after all of this time. Let's see, Movie's got some speed lots doing some scouting. Catches, okay, it was a probe at the 9 o'clock expansion all along. No expansion there, so still though, it's 4 bases for Horang to 3 to Movie, with a 4th looking like it's going up, though Movie is going to be, I think, a little bit harder pressed to hold this. Horang set up his expansions earlier and he's gotten his army up, so I think the timing window to attack Horang while he was weak and expanding is passed. But Movie has moved across into the center of the map, and he might actually cross the bridges onto Horang's side. That's a good place to be, though a Dark Templar for Horang is going to slow things down, at least until that observer arrives. I'm kind of interested to see what happens. It's like, is that a pylon going down at the bottom left of Movie's man at the expansion there? It looks like it is, just to delay Movie from taking a 5th, which is interesting. With the armies this big, I don't know if it's going to delay him for all that long, but any little bit counts, and who knows, we might even see some hidden tech over there, though that I think would be a little bit doubtful at this stage in the game.